That's what I was assuming, but I
Hi,
did want
Brian.
Okay. For everybody watching this in real time, congratulations. You guys are all saints. And yeah, so basically, I had set up. Oh, Tom, I told you about my two favorite myths, right? In order.
Sisyphus.
Nope. That's my least favorite.
Chicago.
Nope. Number one, Brian
economics?
myth. Actually, this is pretty good. I bet you could figure it out. I bet you could figure out Brian's number one favorite myth. What did he say?
I said trickle down economics. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite myth?
Oh, Prometheus, right? Stealing fire from the gods.
Of course.
Yeah. All of Scam School
I thought
is...
that's what I said when I said Sisyphus, actually.
Yeah,
by mistake.
no.
Okay.
But meanwhile, Sisyphus is my reality, right?
Yes.
Sisyphus is my least favorite that I have to exist with every single day. But yes, in order is Prometheus, followed by, I bet you can guess the next one.
Dionysus.
No, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Now, see, Dionysus would be, he's always chasing that high, but he never really pays the price, does he?
Fawns.
Nope, that's not bad either. Nope, it's in order. Number one with the bullet, Prometheus. Number two, Icarus.
Icarus, of course.
Today's lesson... Sure. For my wax wings melting. It's like the moment first I want to steal fire from the gods, and the moment I get a spark, I'm like, and let's make an atomic bomb. Nothing bad will ever happen.
Yeah.
And so, so today was an Icarus day. It was beautiful. Oh, Tom, here, take a look at this. Look at that. Here, throw me on the big screen. I pre-wrote. Here we go. I pre-wrote all of our stories down there. I made a scheduled event so that everybody could gather in the chat. And if you were bored waiting, you could click on the description. I put a reformatted version of all of our show notes in there so everybody could like get an idea. Because it occurred to me, like, we don't keep it a secret what we're about to do.
No.
So it takes nothing away to give the rundown on there, right?
I actually prepared part of this rundown on my office hour stream earlier today. So.
No, this is great. And everybody, it's like Fight Club. It's like Project Mayhem. Everyone chooses their own level of involvement, right?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was great. And then somewhere is one button that just needed to be updated. But in the bug hunt to find the button, we broke 7 things. And now we're on StreamYard.
Yay!
Now you're all caught up. So after this, we're gonna do the bug hunt and we'll find the one button, but it'll be even better because I am certain, Tom, I could set it all up so that both you and Amos get mixed minus on this. It's gonna be great.
This
Just
is
sit with
Brian's
me.
promise to us.
Is that it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
We could also we could have dueling
merch
these.
that says it's gonna be great on it? Because you really should.
Oh wait, does that not play?
I mean, it plays, but it plays in your little window.
I know. But did it play the music? I just wanted to punch out.
It did.
Okay, that was me running away from the conversation.
Okay. Good. Well, then let's do this.
All right.
Go for it, Amos. Welcome to Cord Killers. The world of entertainment is turned upside down. Yeah, it's starting to look at it right now, and we're just trying to find out how to watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want. We killed all the cords, Brian. It's our responsibility to do it. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'll tell you what, after killing the cords, you'd think we would bury the hatchet, but instead, I'm about to dig up that hatchet and then kill them all over again because, boy, did we start a little bit late on account of technical foobarness, but don't worry, we're all fine here, just fine. How are you?
I'm just bellying up to the foo bar to have myself a drink of Cord Killers.
Oh, I thought that was teeing up the supply run.
No, but it is now. Let's go to the supply.
Supply run.
Hey, Brian, did you know the Olympics are Friday?
Uh, no, I really didn't.
I didn't either.
So, Tom,
No one knows. It's the best kept secret in sports. Actually, the Olympics start even before Friday. They're doing like curling pre-qualifications Wednesday, I think. So by the time many people are listening to this, it's already underway.
Well, and think about what a big deal the Winter Games have been. Oh, I don't know. Every other time they've happened in our lifetime.
Every other time they happen, the conversation is, the Olympics are coming up. I don't know if I'm going to watch, or why is it such a big deal? Or why am I seeing it everywhere? Maybe, but not this year. I feel like I actually asked on every social media I could find, did you know the Olympics start this week? And like maybe one person said, yeah, of course. And 99% of the responses were like, really? Huh, that's weird. I do now. Like that kind of like, what is NBC doing? Now, granted, if you're outside the US, you may have an entirely different answer to this, but in the United States, it feels like even if you watch NBC stuff, you knew the Olympics was this year, but you didn't know it was happening this week.
Well, not to make it too political, it is a fact that the current president of the United States is a big fan of crowding out the ecosystem when it comes to news. And in general, news organizations, one of the great things about the Olympics is that it was newsworthy things on schedule. Tick-tock, every 4 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. And this year, there's just too much chaos on the menu, I guess.
I think that's a big part of it. I think you're right. Everyone is concerned with the Whig Party. No, I'm kidding. But I think, no, and I'm not kidding about you being right. I think everyone is so distracted with the news at capital letters that there isn't as much attention being paid to other things. But there is attention being paid to other things. You do hear about other things. It's just harder to elbow in. And I don't think NBC has the natural advantage of marketing that it used to either. Peacock ended 2025 with 44 million subscribers. That's up from 41 million, 22% increase from the year earlier. So 41 million last quarter, up 22% from the year earlier. Peacock revenue rose, but losses increased on the cost of new NBA rights. My point, Brian, is like they've got millions of people subscribing. They've got the NBA. They've got the NFL. They have places to tell people about the Olympics. And I think they were telling people about the Olympics. It's just that they were saying like this year the Olympics happen, not in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks, and that combined with like the natural news cycle probably not having as many inches to fill in old-timey speak.
Well, and I guess put similarly, I mean, just it is an artifact of the Trump administration that they want to crowd out the news, and in that noisy environment, think about it. Like usually, if you're doing old-fashioned, old-timey, hour-long newscasts, you're going to have a certain number of viewer minutes dedicated to domestic issues, local issues, and international issues, and usually the Olympics was like the international story. But now there's a lot of international news.
I've got at least 2 more points to add. And
Okay.
the next one goes right along with that.
Okay.
The other thing is when you and I were but soft summer babes, there was 2 ways. When someone said, did you see the news? People either thought about the TV news or the newspaper. And you probably had one newspaper that everybody read and maybe 3 news channels. Maybe 4. And so you could reliably understand what someone meant when you said, did you see the news? Did you read it in the paper? Did you see it on TV? Now, when you say, did you see the news? It's different for every single person. For you, it might be X. For the other person, it might be Blue Sky. For someone else, it might be Instagram or it might be Facebook. Like people are rarely reading the newspaper, even on the web, or watching the news on TV. And so there isn't that one place where like everybody saw the story about the Olympics. And if your algorithm is like, I don't know, seems like what Johnny X likes is outrage. There's not a lot of outrage around the Olympics, so it doesn't feed it to you.
I wonder how long the outrage move can continue to work, because at this point everybody is aware of it, and I wonder if people are experiencing outrage fatigue or some other way to get their news. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while. This whole lack of a shared reality is strange. It is strange to me, Tom.
Yeah. Well, and we all think I think the other thing is we all think we have a shared reality, right? We don't, but we think we do. And I
we never did, even when we all thought we knew.
Well, I mean, we didn't, you're right, but we at least knew what everyone was talking about, right? When I go back to the news, you knew what was on the news, whether you believed it or not, whether you had a different opinion, you knew what the discussion was, right? Oh, it's the Vietnam War. Oh, it's the hostage situation in Iran. Oh, whatever it is, that's the big story. Now we still have the big story, but the angles on it are entirely different. And everyone thinks their algorithm is roughly the same as everyone else's. Aren't you seeing this? Everybody's algorithm is entirely different from everyone else's. Entirely different. You may be getting the same story, but you're not getting the same angle on it.
You know what's so wild, Tom, is I keep struggling to think of a shorthand that is better than what Stephen King said when he said at this level of the tower. Like when people say, did you hear the news? That's what I just instinctively want to say. What level of the tower are we talking about?
Right.
In what reality? In what version? In what universe?
I talked about this on Mailbag today, but I had a listener get, I think in their minds, justifiably angry about a topic that I brought up at the beginning of a stream because I didn't bring up a topic that they thought was the only topic anyone should be talking about at the time. And it's very representative of where our heads are at. We're like, I'm seeing this and I think everyone else is seeing the exact same thing. And so everything I see is now in context of what I'm seeing, but not everybody's seeing the same thing.
So what's interesting is the Olympics is this bizarre Rorschach test that enjoys the halo of borrowed stories at different times. For example, I mean, in fact, it is a bunch of elite athletes who are groomed from a very young age to, by overzealous coaches to compete in the most competitive athletic tournament of all time. And in general, that doesn't really matter to humans, except for in an esoteric look what we could do kind of way. However, at the height of at the middle of World War II, it borrowed the halo of other politically charged stories. During our youth, at the height of the Cold War, it took on other stories and swelled to it. And it makes me wonder, could it be that the bulk of what we care about the Olympics is a mapping on of something else, and sometimes it fits neatly on the Olympics in the case of the Cold War, in the case of World War II, but in other times, nobody could, at various times, I could have said, explain the world to me through the lens of the Olympics, and it would be very easy. Very few calories to do that, very little friction. I don't feel that way right now. I don't know what would be proven or what stories this would map onto.
Yeah, I think there's another reason why the Olympics is taking so many of us by surprise, but to stay in that vein for the moment, if that's the main reason, it certainly would be why we in the US are not as invested, right? If the reason is we're not as interested, then yes, there is no Republican Olympic team. There's no Democrat Olympic team, right? And so you can't map that on there. When the U.S. hockey team beat the Soviets in 1980, it was a proxy. And some argue, I've seen people argue that it helped release tensions and help us avoid nuclear war, that we played each other in the championship game. It didn't matter who won. The fact that we were able to have that battle as a proxy was important. There is no proxy for that, for the domestic U.S. tensions there. And so you're not looking at the Olympics and going, that's where we can take care of it. There are other tensions that can play out there with China and Europe. Greenland doesn't have a team, but Denmark does. So there's a lot of that can play out there and probably will. But the U.S. only cares about itself, right? It's very insular. And so it doesn't care as much about those stories. It cares about what is the big story in the U.S. And the big story in the U.S. is us hating ourselves.
Yes. Although you brought up a fascinating idea, like the political Olympics. What would you tune in to watch the political Olympics? Like 5 members of the equivalent of the Jamaican bobsled team is like the Green Party showing up, and then, I don't know. That would be fascinating.
Yeah.
Who wins which events? Like, I assume, the obvious jokes would be like the Dems win chess and the Reds win skeet shooting or whatever.
The Republicans win the biathlon, right? Where you have to shoot and ski at the same time. I don't want that to happen because I think there's so many problems, but maybe it would solve a lot of stuff. I don't know. I mean,
actually, maybe it should have to be like a beer or weed Olympics, like some way where it's like it's more like a corporate picnic where it's like y'all have to get along for the day,
like a 3-legged race and that kind of stuff. I think there is something to our attention being distracted that is contributing this. And like most problems, it has multiple facets and multiple causes. But the other reason why we may not be as aware is a choice. I don't think NBC is marketing the Olympics in the same way. Now, granted, we're not all watching TV in the same way anymore either. But I think I have watched some Peacock stuff. I have watched some NBC stuff. I should have it in my face starting February, 6th? Starting February 6th, the opening ceremonies. Don't miss it, February 6th. I don't have that. I have a lot of very amorphous, like, the Olympics are coming. Chloe is preparing. I'm like, so I'm aware they're this year, but I don't know when. I think it's because NBC has the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And the Super Bowl is on February 8th.
So NBC only has one sports-related button at a time, and if they're pressing one sports-related button, they're not pressing another sports-related button, and one of them is a massive cash cow.
When everyone watches the Super Bowl, they can throw all their Olympic it's underway right now. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, keep watching for the Olympics, and then keep watching for the next 2 weeks, because when we're watching the Super Bowl, if it's not a paid advertisement, it's going to be NBC telling you about the Olympics. That's my guess.
I think you cracked the real code. I think that Brian's galaxy brain, which way is the wind blowing stuff, maybe had a minor factor.
I think it had an effect. Yeah, I would say it's not even minor, but yeah, I think it's a multiplier on top of this other cause.
Yeah. Well, and as far as boots on the ground, like hearing about the Olympics, as you know, I'm a fan of our local sports dive bar, and there must be 70 screens around, and they're on at all times. And if you know me, you know that I can't not know what's on those screens. And nary a whiff of Olympics.
Isn't it weird? Like, even if you got the Super Bowl, which they do, and you're going to use that as your platform, like, I don't know. I think it's an oddity that it's not still like, hey, Super Bowl and the Olympics, boom, boom. It's like I can't remember the name of the Barbenheimer. It's the Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer, yeah.
Barbenheimer, yeah.
So let's do this. I'm going to look at Google Trends.
And Barbie is what I was going for.
This is interesting. If we look at Google Trends, let's do 2004 to present. I don't think we see. Wow, look at this. Okay, this is searches for the Olympics, and you got summer is the big spike, then winter is small spike.
Yeah.
In the 2010s, you got almost twice as big in July to 2008. And then the Winter Olympics is as big as the summer was in 2010. Both summer goes down in 2012. Winter stays the same. So if you look at these, winter tends to be the most robust, like clockwork. It doesn't really swing one way or the other.
It doesn't swing as high, but it doesn't go low. It's very consistent.
But in this case, 2020, now we have the pandemic here, right? Yeah. So that's going to change things up.
Threw off the schedule.
That's right. And so we get both a summer and a winter kind of back to back. And then during the summer, think about this. In 2024, July 2024, that was the all-time peak of interest in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And now, 2 years later, as though we're just exhausted, we are at the Olympics, and it is the lowest bump of all time.
Although that's
How
December.
wild.
That's December, right?
Okay. You're right. December 2020.
It's starting to climb, but it's really wild.
Right? In the past 3 months, let's take a look at this. Yeah,
Okay.
we're
We're ticking up, but not very fast.
yeah.
Like,
I think you're
just
right.
February 2nd, people, like, with my post, that's when it's by.
That's great. I always love, sometimes I'll post a word and use it a bunch, and then I'll just see if it shows up on Google Trends because it was me. If I can, I'm going to tell, this is a very out of the way story. Brian Wilson, former lead singer of the Beach Boys, passed away. There was an obscure Mr. Show sketch where they were talking about, they had the SAD Awards or something, and they were riffing on like how weird it is that Eric Clapton wrote a song about his son dying, and it was a hit and everyone loved it. And then they also did a Brian Wilson thing on there, and that song was called A Mouthful of Sores. Okay. This is so many out there things. Brian Wilson died, and on a lark, I searched Google Trends for the phrase mouthful of sores. Obviously, a lot of nothing. And then a giant spike the day after he dies. So if you get far enough in the weeds, you can see those artifacts of little things.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. Listen, folks, if you got nothing else out of our conversation, you know the Olympics is happening now.
You're welcome.
That's worth a couple of bucks, don't you think?
Well, yeah. And as America's #1 source for Olympics news, I think that we deserve a modest $2 an episode. And as a matter of fact, we got an email from somebody who had a bit of an issue with this. Let me see if I can find here.
Yeah. No, they were saying they went to sign up and they couldn't figure out how to customize from $1 to $2 because our tiers are set. Should we just change the bottom tier to be $2 and tell people to customize it to $1?
I think that inflation only, like when we started asking for $1, that is $2 now.
Yeah, I agree. We'll make it easy for you, but you can customize your amount. It just takes a little clicking around in there. But if you know what, all we want is for you to support us on Patreon. So just do that, and we'll be happy.
You know what? As a matter of fact, stay ahead of inflation. Just go to $5 right now. Make us $5 a month. If you would buy each of us half of a cup of coffee, and so the two of us could share a cup, then we'll take it. $5 an episode. That's all we ask.
And now we move on to the search party. Oh my, Brian, we got another season of Ted Lasso. They said the third was the last, but there's a fourth one coming this summer. Production is underway. They released some still images. Ted is coaching Richmond's women's soccer team, confirming production is underway. They showed a picture of Ted. It looked like the back of Coach Beard's head. And he's definitely on board for this. Hannah Waddingham is in these. She's coming back as Rebecca Welton. Annette Badland, who plays Mae Green, the pub owner, she's in these stills. There's also Ted's son, played by Grant Feely. So they changed actors because he's older now. And Tanya Reynolds as an assistant coach. She'll be a new character in there. But there's also a bunch of folks that you know and love that aren't pictured in these stills who are coming back as well. So I don't know how you feel about getting more Ted Lasso when we thought we were done.
If I remember correctly, they were intentionally sort of tiptoey about just calling it just a fourth season. They indicated from the outset that this would be in the Ted Lasso universe, Ted-centric, but it won't be at the same place doing the same thing.
But guess what? It's Ted at the same place doing almost the exact same thing, but
be
with a
honest-
women's team instead of a men's team.
So to be honest, I'm annoyed, Tom. I actually thought I had my money of like, wouldn't it be great if for reasons he was back to coaching football in America and he, for reasons needed, or maybe we were to follow some of his team teaching American football. I don't know.
Yeah. But nope, it's going to be interesting how they explain this. That's what I'll say. And it'll be interesting if they can recapture what made it special, because it really was.
Yeah, you know, what'd be great is one of those, every so often you see those meta scenes where the writers are kind of saying two things at once. And I could picture a scene where Ted Lasso is like, I don't see why I should be teaching soccer no more. I already done everything there is to do. Seems like it's all wrapped up. And they're like, but Ted, the budget's just come in for so-and-so county. There's just too much money. And if it doesn't go to you, where will it go?
Watch, folks, and find out if that is how it begins. Apple TV is going to adapt Brandon Sanderson's works from his Cosmere universe into multiple films and TV shows. Sanderson will write, produce, and consult for the projects. That's more power than George R.R. Martin got. George R.R. Martin got to be in the room. That was considered huge, that he was even in the room, right? Usually you kept authors at arm's length. Sanderson's going to write and produce this thing. He will have the power to sign off on the adaptations, and the bets are that we're going to get Mistborn movies, a Stormlight Archive TV adaptation, which already has a producer, Blue Marble, attached to it, and probably a few more things.
Tom, what would you say the biggest difference between Brandon Sanderson and George R.R. Martin is?
Brandon Sanderson finished someone else's series after they died.
Well, yes, but also reliably publishing is a thing Brandon Sanderson can do. As a matter of fact, if you've ever read some of his online essays about how he divvies up his day, he makes it very, very clear. Look, guys, I'm not doing magic here. There's no wizardry to it. You show up, you spit out this many words per day, every day, bar none. That's it. And with among, yes, the Stormlight Archive, incredible universe, Cosmere, incredible universe. He very clearly does an extraordinary job of beginning with a small moment that becomes so incredibly big and sweeping. By the end is like an onion. You peel layers, layers, layers. But also, most importantly, he's a relentless machine with the track record of being a relentless machine. And I suspect, Tom, you know this world better than I do, that had a bit to do with the decision to commit to that kind of millions of dollars.
Well, you know what? I don't want to throw shade on George R.R. Martin, because I imagine that George R.R. Martin also shows up and writes every day. It's not because he's not working that you haven't seen him publish. I will say that Brandon Sanderson is a businessman, as well as a genius writer. I'm not disagreeing with anything else you said, but he also knows how to manage his intellectual property and knows how to negotiate. That is incredibly clear. The man has pulled off some amazing crowdfunding. He loves to try things. And I imagine that he did a great job of saying, hey, my intellectual property is incredibly valuable, so I'm not just going to sign it over to you. If you want it, you have to agree to these conditions. And furthermore, let me prove why it's to your benefit to have me as a producer, because look at what I did with Kickstarter. Look what I did with this. Look what I did with that. So I think he's just an impressive person beyond just being an impressive writer. He's an impressive talent at other things, and not all writers are. And I don't think that's to their detriment. It's just that Brandon Sanderson is unique in this respect. Well,
and I think what I'm trying to say, and forgive me if it sounded like I was throwing shade, what I meant was he has an extraordinary resume, a historical track record of navigating these very difficult waters with excellence, precision, and with no looking back and on time. That is a combination that would let me believe that they would give this much power to him.
Agreed. We got a trailer for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, featuring Jessica Jones. So we're getting another member of the Netflix Marvelverse crossing over into this sort of reboot-ish kind of thing. It returns on March 24th.
I got to tell you, I watched this trailer kind of with squinting eyes, peeking to the side because I was afraid of spoilers because I still haven't finished the first season. But luckily, I didn't see anything that ruined anything.
No, I think so. The Money Heist universe keeps expanding. Following on prequel Berlin is Berlin and the Lady. Berlin and the Lady with an ermine. Or Ermine. 8-episode drama drops on Netflix May 15th. I don't know if you were in the Money Heist thing, but it's a big deal. It got a lot of folks watching it. Starting February 9th, CBS will air 10 old Survivor episodes, 5 a week, during weeknights, ahead of the premiere of Survivor Season 50 on February 25th. This is also counter-programming to the Olympics, we have recently become aware of. It features 24 past players. So season 50 will bring 24 people from previous Survivor seasons. I assume that these 10 old Survivor episodes are going to feature the people that will be coming back. They're all from season 16 or later. Pluto TV is also currently airing all 49 seasons of Survivor in chronological order.
I think this is pretty good counter programming. I mean, when in doubt, play to your strengths, and they have a rich, robust catalog of highly charged stories at the time. Now, granted, they're historical, but they're going to be, it's back catalog stuff that'll have new relevance going into the new thing. And if you're up against the Olympics, which, people don't even know when it starts, then maybe that's a good way to go.
Yeah. American Idol scored its biggest season debut viewership since 2022, 5.9 million total viewers, a 0.54 rating among adults 18 to 49. This was up from 4.49 million for the premiere last year. If you don't know, American Idol moved to ABC a few years back. It's still hosted by Ryan Seacrest, but the judges are Luke Bryan, Lionel Richie, and Carrie Underwood. And Disney announced that American Idol will start streaming live on Disney Plus when the episodes go live on March 30th. You always get the opening episodes of American Idol are pre-taped because they're auditions and they cut them up. And then they go to the live episodes where people sing and you can vote. Those will be streaming. This is the first time they've streamed American Idol live. It's usually available the next day on Hulu.
Right on.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 unveiled a trailer during the Grammys broadcast. Devil Wears Prada 2 coming May 2nd with everybody from the first one, basically. Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, Tracy Thomas, Tibor Friedman. Kenneth Branagh and Patrick Brammall will be new love interests. David Frankel, who directed the 2006 film, and Aline Brosh McKenna, who wrote the original screenplay, returning for this. Basically, it's the people who made the first one great are going to try to do a second one.
Yeah. So, okay. Everybody coming back for a high fashion, sassy fest. That's all I know about, when you have a cast and there's that big of a gap in between, I often think to myself, like, physiologically, from a production standpoint, what becomes possible. And, look, we all age, we all grow older. And historically, of course, Hollywood trades in the world of glamour. But I am so fascinated, Tom, to know how career trajectories for top talent looks different in an age where it is more and more not just affordable, but automatic to de-age people and make things possible. And keep in mind, I bring this up partly because I'm doing the rewatches of the old Scam School episodes, and I'm having a good time, like, deep faking younger Brian. And I am,
I was going to joke that you just want this for yourself, and you went there.
I do. That is quite literally. No, well, and not that I want to pretend to be young forever, but that play space is such a rich environment that it's like, all things being equal, the people who are watching the old episodes with me, I don't think any of us would mind an episode of Play Pretend to go back to that space to tell a different story in that world of 20 years ago. And likewise, if an actor or an actress is known for a particular level of sexual glamour or whatever, then her actual real biological age is less relevant to me, as long as the character doesn't age. We already saw this with Paul Rubens when he did the Pee-wee's Adventure on Netflix.
I feel like I was going to let you finish, but did you watch the trailer?
No.
Okay. Because they didn't de-age anybody.
I believe all of that, but this is far and away. I figured everything I just said was more interesting than I didn't watch the trailer.
No, but I was like, people are going to get the wrong idea and think, wow, they're de-aging everybody to do Devil Wears Prada 2. And it's absolutely the opposite. These are all, we're basically setting the story now, this many years after the original. And so everybody's playing their current age in Devil Wears Prada 2. Should anyone care about that part of the story? I did think it was interesting that they marketed this as Academy Award winner Meryl Streep, Academy Award winner Anne Hathaway, we've got all these Academy Award winning actors doing a sequel to Devil Wears Prada.
Right. Well, and usually that is played up like to be a joke. But did you get the impression that they're just honestly trying to elevate the status of Devil Wears Prada 2?
I think it was a little tongue in cheek of like, hey, these are all really amazing people doing this story, which may not be the most serious story, but you should know, like, hey, these are not. I took it as more like, look, this must be good if this level of talent agreed to do it, which is a bit of a, they didn't have to, I guess is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Netflix's animated Stranger Things Tales from 85 arrives April 23rd. This is a story that takes place between seasons 2 and 3 of the live action Stranger Things.
Yeah, dude, don't sleep on animated shows. There are aspects of the Predator anthology on Hulu that I think that there are parts of stories that could never be told in any kind of live action version.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of these stories they had in mind when they shot the original, because the premise here is that something sneaked through the gate when 11 closed it at the end of season 2, and they have to hunt it down. And I don't remember enough about season 3 to know if that was part of the plot or if they're going to just tie it up in a nice little bow. And that's why they didn't refer to it in season 3. But yeah, that's a challenge to be able to like shoehorn these stories in unless you were planning for it from the beginning, which they may have been. Netflix will stream the live comeback concert of BTS from Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul on Netflix at 4 a.m. Pacific on March 21st. BTS went into military service. They haven't done a concert in almost 4 years. So this will be their first time on stage together since then. It will also release a documentary on the making of their comeback album, which will come to Netflix on March 27th. I think this is significant for many reasons, but one of them is that Netflix got this. This is the kind of thing that, in BTS's earlier days, they would have done it on YouTube. In fact, they did a documentary series on YouTube, but now they're doing it on Netflix.
Well, of all the angles that are most surprising, I think it's the complete redefinition of the word comeback. How do you get to call this a comeback, Tom? When did BTS leave?
When they went into the military. Don't call it a comeback.
Okay.
They've been here. They've been in the military for years. Is that what you're saying?
No, I guess you're right. I mean, that does count. Normally we think about it like, they've been out of cultural favor, but I guess it would say homecoming would make more sense than comeback.
There is there's also in K-pop, I don't know if you call it a trope or the custom of calling every album a comeback. You have a debut album and then you have a comeback. Everyone is a comeback.
That's amazing. In the chat, Jeff Mazar said the exact same thing. It's
really?
mandatory in Korea that you have a comeback. I think he meant military service, but I like the idea that a comeback is mandatory.
But no,
as well.
You call every new album a comeback. It's a weird quirk of the subculture that sounds weird to your ears, I'm sure. But that's kind of normal phrasing for that. And in fact, that may have been me writing that versus anyone else calling it that. But it essentially, since these guys went into the military and one was special forces and two were drill sergeants and one was a tank gunner, they are now getting together on stage for the first time, and Netflix got it. So that's going to be a big deal for them.
That's great.
All right, let us move on to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
Buried Treasure is the segment of the show where we talk about something we've been watching that we think, I don't know, maybe you would like to watch it too. Brian, what are you going to recommend?
Tom, I'm going to let you decide for me based on how much you have seen. Because if you have seen any of Wonder Man, I would love to sing its praises and tell everyone how incredibly good it is. Okay, we're going with that? Okay, great.
If I said I hadn't seen any, you would have picked a different show? Like,
Oh, I would have just talked about The Pit because
really, why though?
Oh, because I also watched The Pit. Oh, just because I want the two of us to talk about Wonder Man constantly and forever and with full knowledge. But yeah, did you watch the first two episodes?
Yeah, we watched.
Is that what I saw?
I described it to Eileen. She said, that sounds great. We watched the first episode on Sunday and the second episode yesterday. So it's been fun to watch. Some people compare it to the studio, and I get why they say that because it's like inside Hollywood, like what it's really like, but it's not the studio because the studio is from the executive perspective. This is real people working in Hollywood perspective, and really enjoyed that to the point we got very excited when he went to do his self-tape and we were like, hey, I know that place. That's in Koreatown.
Oh, that's great.
We go there all the time.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. The show is great. It's the best Marvel thing maybe in the last 5 years. Like maybe since.
And it's isolated. You could have never seen a Marvel thing ever and watch this and enjoy it. You're not going to feel left out. You're not going to feel like, oh, I guess I should have seen Captain America Part 7. It's just a great story.
Well, and also, isn't it great to see the character of Trevor Slattery, I think?
Slattery. Yeah, that's right.
Slattery. To see this clown prince buffoon character when it gets close to his domain, capital H, capital S, his domain, he becomes Ben Kingsley. He becomes a god. He becomes in charge, and other people wilt around him. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Yeah, no, this is really, really interesting and fun and has a nice subplot, but also is telling a real story. It's kind of doing a little bit of what Andor did, where it's just telling a story of a struggling actor, whereas Andor was telling an action story, right? And fitting it into a universe, Andor in Star Wars and this in Marvel.
What did you think about its fairly bite-size package that it comes in?
So much love. Please stop making me have to watch an hour plus for
yeah.
This. This is good. This is very good. I fully support. Speaking of things that are not bite-sized, on Sunday
that are too long,
we watched the Grammys on CBS. One of the reasons I enjoy watching the Grammys is because the Grammys kind of understands that you're not really there for the awards. You're there to watch a bunch of musicians perform together in a way you would never have seen before. We did a live watch along in the Daily Music Headlines Discord. So if you listen to Daily Music Headlines, you know you get like 5 minutes a day of like all the music news you need. And so it was all of us just chatting as we watched the Grammys and talking about what we thought. Two of the hosts had to go to bed before it was done because it was 3.5 hours, Brian.
Wow.
They did the in memoriam over 3 breaks.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, some of what they did was fantastic. I thought one of the things that was really cool is they did all of the new artists performing together in like a handoff situation. So one new artist would perform, and at the end of their set, there would be a transition to the next new artist who would perform, to the point where like 2 of the performers were doing it outside of Crypto Arena. Like, you know, they like went outside and then came back in. That was really fun. And you got to see them all back to back. So you got to compare and contrast and just see how much talent there was in that new artist category. And the in memoriam was really great too, because they were bringing up musicians to do tributes to D'Angelo and Ozzy Osbourne. Not together. They did the Ozzy Osbourne one and then the D'Angelo one, but you got to see all these amazing artists, you know, coming on stage and doing the songs from those folks. And they also did some tributes for some other people as well that way. That was incredible, but man, it was too long. That I don't know what you would cut, but you probably should have cut something. Well, if you got something, we should be able to. Oh, the other part of this too. This is the last time the Grammys will be on CBS or Paramount Plus. Next year it goes to Disney, so it'll be broadcast on ABC and available on Disney Plus.
Wow.
If you got something we should be on the lookout for, email us cordkillers@gmail.com. It is with great pleasure that I announce Brian Brushwood.
You announced Brian Brushwood? I agree. It's with great pleasure I'm announced.
To you, Brian, that this print copy of Synced can be purchased on Amazon now.
Oh, hells yeah. I'm doing it right now. Where am I going?
Just go to Amazon, search Synced Tom Merritt, SYNCED, Tom Merritt. You can not only get the Kindle, the ebook has been there for a while, but the print version finally got approved. Long story, but previous publisher went out of business, but Amazon had it in their records and they're like, you can't publish that. And I said, yes, I can. Here's the letter that says I can. So there you go.
Know a little more about tech. There we go.
Synced,
Beautiful.
know a little more about tech. Name something. You want to know about the
Wikipedia.
word computer? Wikipedia, Windows, central processing unit, algorithm, machine learning, laser printers. Why do we have them? It's all in there. Everything. If you got I have a question about technology, check out Synced. It's available wherever fine books are sold.
Yeah. By the way, this is a very Tom Merritt photograph. I need technology. Give me a calculator, a slide ruler, and a keyboard. Got it.
Yeah. That's my actual keyboard.
I totally knew it. I had no doubt.
And I don't know what I did with the slide rule, but it's sitting behind me somewhere there.
That's great.
All right. Shall we scan the horizon?
Indeed, sir.
Send a scanning to avoid.
Scanning the horizon!
Ampere Analysis estimates that Amazon Prime Video will make up 27% of the amount of money spent on sports streaming rights this year. That puts them in front of the previous high spender, DAZN, D-A-Z-N, which makes up 22%. YouTube TV and its NFL Sunday ticket rights are next with 14%, followed by Paramount Plus and Netflix. Key to Amazon's increase is its 11-year NBA deal. Now, Brian, this is a little bit apples to oranges comparison because some of the rights for sports are attributed to broadcast for the Peacocks and CBSs of the world. So it's interesting that Paramount Plus is as high as it is, because that means they're spending money for just streaming rights in a large amount. And Amazon obviously has no broadcast arm, so all of the money they spend on sports is streaming rights.
Well, and so with streaming rights, are we parceling out that's 37% as a percentage of all of the money made on the rights, or
of the money spent on the rights? So
got it.
You total up how much is everybody spending on streaming rights, and with the people who have broadcast, you have to do some this percentage of what they're spending is for the broadcast rights and this is for the streaming. Whereas with Amazon and DAZN, it's easy. You just all the money they're spending, yep, that's for streaming.
What a wild business sports is in general, because you buy on the general reputation and the expected shape of the stories that will unfold, and then you begin the season having no idea, and you adjust your coverage based on, I don't know, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's the ultimate reality show. Because despite a few people out there alleging otherwise, it's not scripted. Reality shows are usually scripted in a small amount. They leave a lot of room for you to do different things in a reality show, but they have the general outline. Sports, the general outline is play the game. Let's see what happens. Speaking of which, the NFL now owns 10% of ESPN. Disney still owns most of it, but NFL bought 10% of ESPN, and in exchange, ESPN now owns the NFL Network and NFL Red Zone channels. NFL media employees will become ESPN employees starting in April, and the NFL Network will be integrated into ESPN's streaming service starting with the next regular season.
So given how often we hear about regulatory hurdles to, antitrust, blah, 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 the entire NFL Network becoming a wholly owned subsidiary of ESPN, I would have expected more regulatory brouhaha there.
Why exactly?
Mainly because it's the totality of another branch. I always thought from NFL's perspective, It's a savvy move to make your own network so that it's a hedge against everyone else, and it elevates your bargaining power. Again, like the whole reason to have the NFL Network is to command higher licensing fees among all the broadcasters and streamers out there. And then now you have a purchase, and all of a sudden all that leverage is going away. I guess I would expect that there would have been some kind of regulatory eyebrow raising on that.
I mean, everything you're talking about impacts cable, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
yeah.
licensing fees and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess so.
So I'm wondering if that's why the NFL does it, to be like, leverage for carriage anymore, not that big a deal. So we would rather have 10% of ESPN and rake that money in, knowing that that's where the puck is moving, wrong sport, because streaming rights is where everything's going to be. And the cost of running the NFL Network now can be handled by ESPN, and we don't have to have a separate structure for it.
I understand it from NFL's perspective. It sounds like, look, we went out, we built a vertical. It's quite good. We would like an exit from it. And then money in the form of stock and take care of it, keep going, great. But just often, I guess, in a world where we were talking about Fox Business News being, some other conservative network crying foul on that tiny slice of things, I'm surprised that nobody would cry foul in what feels like a much bigger play like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one network and it's a small network, honestly. So
I guess that's the real lesson is that just the numbers were too small.
Speaking of the numbers, we got Disney earnings, so we now know how Disney streaming is doing otherwise. In the latest earnings, Disney mentioned that ESPN lost $110 million during the 2 weeks that it was not on YouTube TV. That is chump change for YouTube TV. That is a lot of money for ESPN. So wow. YouTube TV saved $110 million, maybe lost some subscribers. ESPN lost a big chunk. Overall revenue for ESPN was $4.9 billion. So they still did fine. And it was even up 1%. Would have been up a little more if they hadn't lost that money. Total revenue for Disney Plus and Hulu was up 11%. Disney no longer reports subscriber numbers, so the revenue numbers are the best we can go on. That's how well they're doing.
Interesting.
And Disney got a new boss, or will get a new boss. Starting March 18th at its annual meeting, Parks head, the head of Disney Experiences, Josh D'Amaro, will take over as CEO from Bob Iger. And this part is going to ring deja vu because we said this when Bob Chapek took over too. But Bob Iger will stay on as senior advisor until December 31st, when he will again retire. D'Amaro started in parks in 1998 at Disneyland. He's been with the company ever since. So this is Disney saying, we want someone who knows this company inside out, knows our intellectual property, knows what our customers like. He's been in charge of parks and merch, so he's very invested in what makes that company money. Dana Walden, who came over from Fox in 2019, is going to get promoted to president and chief creative officer, and she will run not only studio, but also TV and streaming. So she is in charge of the whole enchilada as far as creating video content.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of promoting from the park side of things, because you get, just by pure exposure, an awful lot of an understanding from the fans' perspective. And you also don't lose sight of the downstream revenue generation potential of things. For example, Cars, I think, made okay money at the box office, but far and away is the most valuable money-making toys franchise, or like all the money in the world comes from Cars, apparently.
Yeah. And that's kind of the way Iger was talking about it, is D'Amaro knows that he has no great intellectual property at his parks and merch if Dana Walden doesn't make great stuff. So he expects that they will work well together. They, I guess, considered a co-CEO situation, but said sometimes it works, but not all the time, and not for us. So not doing a co-CEO situation, but I think trying to promote Dana Walden enough that she doesn't leave, to say like, look, you're going to have complete control of the things you do well, which is making content. So go for that.
Yeah.
CNBC reported Monday that Warner Brothers is likely to hold a shareholder vote on the Netflix deal in March. If it passes, the deal would move forward to regulatory review. If it fails, then Paramount can continue to push itself as the replacement for that deal. But March 18th, I wouldn't say it's the final word, but we'll get kind of a definitive weigh-in from the actual shareholders. Previously, the board approved the deal. Now, March 18th, the shareholders will vote on it.
Yeah, I would say how that vote goes will be a pretty clear indicator of which way everything is likely to shake out.
I'm going to guess that it will pass and that the real fight is going to be in regulatory. Ted Sarandos did his Senate subcommittee testimony today. And so we'll talk about it more next week, but he got grilled. And that's not a big surprise. I think less telling will be what he got grilled about today. More telling will be what people talk about in relation to that. What the people who are in charge of regulatory stuff say based on that. A lot of times these subcommittees are show ponies, right? You trot the guy out there so that you can get him to say the thing and then point to the thing, whatever case you're making, positive or negative. And so I'm more interested in what people's reactions to his testimony will be.
Yeah.
And finally, I put this in here because I think it's a streaming outlet that maybe a lot of people don't know about. Jolt. Jolt is an independent film streaming platform. It offers rentals which let you choose within a range how much to pay for it. It also lets you donate to the Jolt Impact Foundation nonprofit, or to a particular film director, or to a particular film if you want. The whole premise is you want to support independent film. We will help make that happen. And the news is that Academy Award nominated documentary Viva Verdi is now available on the Jolt streaming platform, making it available in the US.
Yeah, I would love to know if any of our fans out there have messed around with Jolt and what it's like. Hit us up at cordkillers@gmail.com.
Indeed. All right, folks. Let's move on to the chatter.
Got mail.
I feel like microdramas is just going to keep coming up on this show. Nikki wanted to reach out and give personal experience with microdramas. Nikki wrote, I am addicted. The type of I can stop whenever I want addicted. The type where I justify it with I'll do 30 minutes of housework, then watch 15 to 20 minutes of a microdrama with a timer, since each episode lasts 2 to 3 minutes, so I can just stop watching in the middle of the show. Really, I can. Sigh. This is real money I spent on these apps. I'm prefacing this with the month of November and December is my vacation and birthday month, so I had a lot of time to indulge this. I spent $42 on Reel Short, $42 on FlickReel, $12.83 on iQIYI, and $31 on Youku. I guarantee that I used the apps to the point where it's less than 50 cents an hour. As I said, I was on vacation. I even started using my Blue Sky account to share the ones I loved and that were just okay. My YouTube subscriptions and algorithm are now flooded with shorts that in the descriptions show the drama and where you can watch it. Not to mention the many options that are just full versions of the C-drama/K-drama, which, since I have YouTube Premium, have no ads. I'm not even going to mention the Dailymotion site or that you can just Google Dailymotion Downloader. With all that aside, love the show. Thanks for killing those cords.
I love getting a peek into little subcultures like this. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki, this is well constructed. I love the data points. I love the on the ground reporting. And it's a great way to show this is why there's so much buzz around microdramas, right? Because there's people like Nikki out there that are eating them up. Danny writes, I distinctly remember friends wanting to see movies only because it had CGI. It was new and cool. I don't see that enthusiasm from my nephews who are around the same age I was back then. Not even about what could be, and they're bright-eyed, hopeful youths. We understand that modern AI are good enough machines, except if you try to do something serious, you realize it slowly tricks you into lowering expectations until you realize they are not good enough machines. Sometimes you don't realize, like when people post AI art that they insist is photorealistic but has obvious flaws. I work for a major but not magnificent tech company. I've seen the internal AI team make a half a dozen concessions in our existing ticketing system just to have AI properly sort things. It doesn't work. It won't work. Until we get widespread, consistent GEs, good enough machines, I understand why people treat AI like a used car that they only bought because of terrible life circumstances. I don't think the entertainment industry is as willing to experience with not good enough AI tools as they were with early CGI.
Yeah, a lot of different vectors here. As you and I have talked about, Tom, no two people arguing about AI are arguing about the same thing. But one thing I think we can all agree on is we are in a very strange, mushy middle territory where the promises of AI are fairly untethered from the statistical deliveries of AI. And when that happens, it's going to be a curious thing. In terms of the CGI comp, I do think that CGI was... you were seeing something that could never have been done before and required humans to cause it to happen. So you could, as I think of it, see the human, and that's harder to do with AI because it looks an awful lot like there is no human behind it.
Yeah. I feel like Danny, if you want to write back and clarify, like, what era did you and your friends think CGI was cool? Because I feel like when CGI first arrived, there was no pre-knowledge of it. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, how did they do that? Then it became, oh, they're using CGI. It's not as good. And then it became, oh, the CGI, let's judge it. Is it good or is it not? But depending on the era, you got different reactions to it.
Yeah.
Thomas writes, hello, Tom and Brian. Hope you're doing well. I want to offer this challenge. I was just watching in preparation for your episode about the lowest rated Star Trek, the animated series episode. I was curious. You guys often talk about how the show looks, why it doesn't often work for you. I'm curious, how would these episodes that you have reviewed so far work if you only listened to them? Go back, watch the first and the highest rated this episode in the next first time through just listening to see how much you can get out of it. I'm very curious about your thoughts. I am blind and therefore only have what audio and don't have access to the visual. Curious if that would change your opinions of these episodes or not. I think this is a really interesting question because you've got the original cast voices on this.
Well, and to be honest, it made me realize, even as a child watching the animated series, that I'm like, wait a minute, the magic of Star Trek is not in the spectacle, in the the cardboard cutout aliens or whatever. It's in the script and the story and the characters.
Yeah. And a little spoiler for the full experience. I feel like the final episode has a much different audio character, much different acting character than did the first episode that we watched. I think this cast had to learn how to do voice acting over the course of this series, because they didn't want to have audio voice actors. They wanted to have the original actors, but they weren't used to just sitting in front of a mic and having to bring the emotion versus standing and walking around
Well, and as I believe somebody in the chat let us know, the very first episodes, or maybe the first episode only, they had everybody literally in the room together, and then they obviously did not afterwards.
And speaking of Star Trek, we got lots of reactions to Starfleet Academy. Scott said, I heard this mentioned on your show, decided to check it out. My favorite moment was on the Wall of Heroes, seeing the name Admiral Harry Kim. Poor guy couldn't get a promotion to save his life on Voyager, but clearly, he got them eventually. Overall, I don't care too much for the show. Holly Hunter is going to be very polarizing. I'd much rather watch Star Trek War College. I'm willing to give it a chance to grow on me and find its stride. TJ Asher said, as a huge Trek fan, the marketing completely missed me. I did not know this was a thing. After 2 episodes, so far so good. Bit cheesy at times, but come on, it's a new Star Trek. By the way, wasn't Tilly supposed to be a teacher there? No sign of her. But give me more of Tig Notaro and less Holly Hunter. Sorry, even though she's a voice in my favorite animated movie ever, The Incredibles, I can't get past the stigma of one of the worst movies ever made, The Piano. Didn't it win awards? And then Dave in Waco said, hey guys, I just wanted to say I hope that YouTube will soon offer toggles to allow us to never see AI content. He's sick and tired of getting all that AI content in his algorithm.
Yeah, I think, look, man, adolescence is a weird time. I mean, the funny part is I will make this prediction. In 5 to 10 years, it'll be hard to even remember or find in the wild everything you currently don't hate or that you don't like about AI. Like the artifacts that leap out to you now will become invisible, either because of repetitive exposure or because they've gotten good at it.
And I don't get a lot of the slop recommended to me. Neither does Eileen. So I'm not trying to like big time you when I say that. I'm like, there must be a way, is all I'm saying. There's hope for you to be able to train the algorithm not to give that stuff to you.
Well, and the thing is right now it's playing base level, got your nose kind of ploys to get you to hesitate a little bit too long. And it's largely a negative experience, annoying. However, it also is racking up viewer seconds that algorithmically is pushing more of it. So right now you will have to actually become bored of it. So you naturally, without trying, you naturally just won't be looking at it, and then it won't serve more of it to you.
Yeah. Well, folks, our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And we are live at twitch.tv/Night Attack and on youtube.com/Modern Rogue Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
How's the roast, Amos?
Let me tell you something. I burnt my hand.
Oh, no.
I got 2 phone calls that I had to take.
Uh-huh.
The roast is in,
Okay.
but the potatoes and carrots aren't, but I can handle that in a little while. Okay. Man, it's just like, oh, and the fire alarms went off because when I was, caramelizing the side of the roast in the pan, I forgot to turn the fan on. It's one of those days. Like I've got entirely too much going on for anything to go wrong, and everything seems to be just delayed a little bit all day.
They always happen, though.
Yeah. It's
okay.
I blame it on my wife.
I think Brian understands that, too.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I just got through it.
Shall we move on into the full experience then?
Yes, indeed, sir.
We don't need a break?
No, to be honest, I mean, pulling back the curtain, you guys saw me sneezing the entire time. I think I got to call it early. To be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do on Great Night. For everybody watching, I think I'm going to have to punt on Great Night. If you can spread the word that Justin's out of town and I have half of a Great Night episode, but I was going to host it and do the rest, for everyone. But Brian alone at 100% will be entertaining his bookends. Brian dead on his feet, well, less so.
Yeah. We could punt full experience too if you want.
Would that be asking too much? Would that be okay?
No, it's fine.
That would actually work really well for me.
Really?
So I have to catch a flight to Seattle tonight at 10 o'clock. I haven't packed and I barely got dinner
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. We have a unanimous quorum, I think.
Okay. Oh, here we go. BioCal, here. He said, do a 30-second thing I could clip. All right, here we go. Hello, beautiful Diamond Clubbers. Look, I'm sick, and we have half of an episode of Great Night ready to go, and I was going to host it. However, I'm a little bit dead on my feet, so it'll be a day late. So stick around. We'll see you guys tomorrow. There we go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll leave the stream. We'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.